The shadow of greatness can sometimes stretch longer than the spotlight itself. And nobody knows that drama better than Kevin Durant's complicated saga with the Golden State Warriors, a story still simmering with unspoken shots and unfinished. Business that might just ignite the next wild chapter in Dub Nation lore. Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. Now, let's dive deep into the tension, peeling back the layers of KD's subtle shade on Steph Curry, an indirect jab that's reverberating through the Bay and beyond, stirring a mix of fury and fascination that feels like a powder keg set to explode. Flashback to when Durant left the Oklahoma City Thunder after grinding through 8 frustrating seasons shadowed by one of the league's most inefficient, ball-dominant jump shooters, Russell Westbrook, hoping for a fresh start and a real shot at glory. His landing in Golden State wasn't just a signing. It was a seismic shift that paired him with Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green all locked in their primes, the ultimate lineup of Hall of Famers who already shattered records with that jaw-dropping 73-win season. Together, they didn't just win championships, they obliterated opponents, reigning for 3 straight years with a lethal combo of splash and size, speed and skill, culminating in 3 consecutive finals appearances. But here's where the storyline ripples with complexity. Durant, the 2-time Finals MVP crowned in 2017 and 2018, arguably overshadowed Curry, who had to watch from the sidelines as Durant seized the mantle of best warrior during their shared prime years, while Steph was surprisingly passed over even in 2015 when the Finals MVP went to Andre Iguodala instead. That dynamic set off a storm of fan debate still raging across Dub Nation, fueled further by Durant's recent throwdown on social media, where in response to a fan wondering why Warriors fans still despise him, KD's cryptic reply was a pointed nod to those Finals MVPs, the trophies that tightened the wedge between their legacies. Curry, ever the relentless champion, eventually secured his own Finals MVP in 2022, a full 4 years after Durant's departure, but there the bitterness of those lost moments lingers unsweetened. And yet, the deeper fracture might not even be those shining moments of triumph, but the abruptness and trajectory of Durant's departure 3 seasons, where he elevated the Warriors into a juggernaut feared across the league. Then a merciless flight to the Brooklyn Nets, where the super team experiment fizzled into one of the most infamous letdowns in modern NBA history. The decision to leave wasn't just a career choice. It felt to many in Dub Nation like a fracture in the very DNA of what had been built. He didn't just walk away from championships. He walked away from a culture, a brotherhood, a city that had embraced him despite the noise from the outside world that his rings were easy. That sting only deepened when his Brooklyn chapter collapsed in a haze of injuries, chemistry issues, and trade demands, leading to a forced exit to the Phoenix Suns, a team chasing quick contention but ultimately sputtering under the weight of expectations. And now, after another playoff disappointment, this summer's shocking flip to the Houston Rockets, a franchise so far removed from Warriors lore and championship pedigree that it left fans scratching their heads. The enmity felt by some fans isn't just because Durant snatched Finals MVP glory that a vocal contingent believes rightfully belonged to Curry. It's because the colossal talent who so effortlessly carried the Warriors to 3 more Finals essentially turned his back on his peak years could have extended the Dynasty's reign into something truly unprecedented. The real sting, the wound that never quite scabbed over, is that a soon-to-be 37-year-old megastar still operating at a top 25 talent level chose to step away from a team where his stars shone brightest, leaving behind echoes of what if that still haunt the Chase Center rafters. What if KD had stayed healthy in 2019? What if the dynasty had never fractured? What if the Splash Brothers era had been bolstered by his prime for another half-decade? Those are the ghosts that linger, the questions whispered in Oakland bars and San Francisco coffee shops, the alternate realities that will forever be out of reach. But here's the under-the-radar bomb no one saw coming. Whispers swirling now that Kevin Durant might be eyeing a return to Golden State, a reunion so improbable, so fraught with emotion, that it could split the NBA landscape in two. This isn't just rumor mill fodder. It's the kind of seismic possibility that shakes boardrooms, rewrites salary cap spreadsheets, and forces Steve Kerr to consider the delicate art of blending old flames with new ambitions. The chessboard would change instantly, salary cap puzzles tighter than ever, chemistry gambits that could make or break a season, rotations recalibrated to balance Curry's gravitational pull with KD's scoring arsenal. And all this while Klay Thompson continues to heal, chasing his old form, and young guns like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody grind every day to carve out legacies in the shadow of legends. Could this potential double back be the adrenaline shot the Warriors need to bridge their past dynasty glories with the unpredictably bright horizon ahead? Or would the resurrection of KD's Golden State chapter deepen the fractures, reigniting old wounds, resurfacing old tensions, and stirring an emotional maelstrom that splits the fanbase clean down the middle? Because make no mistake, this fanbase remembers everything. The euphoria of Game 3 daggers, the heartbreak of the 2019 Finals collapse, the awkward press conferences, the burner accounts, the silent exits. And they bring all of that history into this hypothetical reunion. Picture the first game. Back, Chase Center lit like a festival, the noise so deafening it rattles the glass. Steph and KD sharing the court again while Draymond directs traffic. With that familiar mix of genius and chaos, Klay drifting to the wing with the calm of a sniper. On paper, its terrifying defenses would have to pick their poison in a way not seen since the height of the Dynasty. But off the paper, that's where the questions loom. Can Kerr balance the demands of stars who've already been to the mountaintop with the development of the youth that's supposed to secure the future? Can KD step back into the Bay without the baggage weighing down every interaction, every media scrum, every whispered locker room aside? With Curry still commanding the floor, Draymond orchestrating defense with his unmatched grit, and Klay's silky shots ready to splash again, the stakes couldn't be higher for Golden State. The potential upside? Another banner in the rafters. Another parade down Market Street. Another chapter in a dynasty that refuses to fade. The risk? A misstep so costly it accelerates the twilight of the era, leaving nothing but memories and remember when stories for a generation of fans. As a lifelong Dub Nation believer, my pulse is racing just writing this. The very idea of Durant stepping back into the Bay's swirl of blue and gold drama both excites and unnerves. A powder keg poised between redemption and rupture. Because this isn't just about wins and losses. It's about legacy, closure, and whether greatness can be rekindled without burning the whole house down. So I'll leave it here for you. Dub Nation, will this be the ignition point for our next title run, or the crack that splits our legacy? Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand, ready to ride this storm with you. If you felt your blood boil the second you heard the whispers about KD possibly suiting up again in the Bay, I'm with you. Let that fire fuel every word you drop below, because this isn't just another rumor. It's the thin ice Dub Nation have been cautiously stomping on for years. Picture this. Kevin Durant, the man who tore the hearts out of proud Warriors fans when he bolted, the two-time Finals MVP, whose shadow loomed over Steph's prime, now flirting with the idea of coming back to the very place that made him a legend, but also left him a pariah. What does that even mean right now? We're not just talking about locker room chemistry or cap space headaches. That's the surface. Beneath it all is this electric tension crackling between unfinished legacies and the desperate need to cling to a dynasty fading before our eyes. Remember, the Warriors went from 5 straight finals appearances to a fragmented squad dancing around injuries and youth trying to fill the void left by that golden era's unraveling. Draymond's temper and leadership are more crucial than ever. Steph carries the weight of legacy like Atlas on the court, and Klay's rehab risk only brings more questions about whether he'll ever find his rhythm again. Meanwhile, The young gun's Kuminga's flashes of brilliance, Moody's silky stroke, Wiggins' breakout defense are fighting tooth and nail to make a name for themselves. But the franchise is caught in the limbo between honoring the past and forging the future. Now throw KD's potential homecoming into that volatile mix. It's like watching an old flame walk back into the room on a night that promises either fireworks or a powder keg explosion. The front office faces a chess game where every move might unravel the carefully balanced equations of trust, talent, and team identity. Steve Kerr has rehearsed his calm, collected coach act countless times. But beneath that trademark smile lies a man who knows chemistry is as fragile as the Durant controversy itself. Can he blend a superstar with a history of bitterness and abrupt exits into a harmonious unit without fracturing the delicate egos and alliances? Or will the locker room fracture under the weight of decades-old grudges we thought were buried deep? Steph's got his edge sharper than ever, watching him guard his throne, while grappling with the era of KD took my spotlight storylines that still haunt every highlight reel and social media thread. And how long before the inevitable comparisons resurface like ghosts? Who's really the greatest warrior of all time? The man who won multiple MVPs and changed the game forever, or the prodigy who was catalyzed into superstardom only after KD's exit? It's a debate heated enough to spark fights in barbershops from Oakland to San Francisco. And yet, there's a strange allure in the possibility of a reunion, a chance to rewrite history, to surge back into contention and silence the doubters, who've chronicled the Warriors' decline like a Greek tragedy in slow motion. What if KD's return galvanizes this team in ways no one predicted? What if his presence mentors the young blood, mentoring Kuminga and Moody not just in basketball craft, but in pain, perseverance, and pressure? What if this is exactly the spark the Warriors need to vault past the shadows of the last few seasons' injuries, trade rumors, and playoff injuries that left us shattered? But what if carries a razor-thin edge because every heartbeat whispers doubt? What if all we get is the rekindling of old wounds? What if KD's re-entrance drags up resentments that fracture more than just the lineup? What if the chemistry shatters like a shattered three-pointer at the buzzer, leaving Curry forced to carry a fractured squad even harder, and Draymond caught in the unbearable clash of loyalty and wariness? From a franchise that once redefined modern basketball with unselfish, space and pace brilliance, could we end up caught in a headache of egos that derails progress right when the league starts shifting fast around us? Every fan in Dub Nation knows this saga is about more than just a basketball roster shuffle. It's a raw, emotional struggle for identity. The Warriors aren't just a team. They're a culture, a family, a dynasty built on resilience and relentless pursuit of perfection. And the stakes? They've never been higher because basketball history isn't kind to second chances, especially on stages so huge the world watches every pass, every score, every dollar spent like it's the battle for the soul of the game itself. As someone who has bled blue and gold through every heartbreak, every improbable comeback, every parade down Market Street, I can feel it deep in my bones, the wind shifting, the narrative pulling us toward a cliffhanger no fan wants, but every fan secretly craves. KD back in Golden State is either the combustible fuse lighting, a supernova of championship glory, or the fracture that finally splinters the dynasty into irreparable pieces. It's not just basketball, it's legacy, pride, redemption, betrayal, and the raw, unfiltered agony and ecstasy that comes with loving a team so fiercely it feels like an extension of your own soul. So don't hold back, drop your hottest, rawest takes below. Tell me straight up, are you ready to welcome back the prodigal son or brace for the storm of a dynasty in turmoil? I'll be right there, riding every wave of that emotional tsunami with you. No filter, no fear, just pure Dub Nation heart.